Hey y'all, welcome back to Chosen Faith Ministries. My name is Ariane Scales. I see y'all going crazy in the comments. Y'all got a lot of questions. And a lot of the questions are, how did I think someone else was my husband, but I married someone else? Now, I keep telling y'all I married my kingdom spouse, right? Because there are different levels to marriage. Yes, I didn't know either until I started going to church. Let me explain. So, first and foremost, I never wanted marriage. Let me just set that precedent. I never wanted marriage and I didn't want marriage because the way I saw love done growing up, although I did not know any other form of how it was supposed to be done, I knew it was wrong. I knew I didn't want that. Does that make sense to y'all? Does anybody else feel like that? I knew from a very early age that I was designed to be set apart and I knew I wanted different things. So I knew that I did not want a child without a husband. I knew that I didn't want to raise a child single because I grew up in a two-parent household. There was just so many different things that I saw my family go through. I saw my friends go through, that I saw people around me go through, and it really skewed my perception on love and marriage. But I knew that there are people that have real love somewhere, so it has to be a way that this can be done. And God promises us love. He promises us marriage. And marriage is one of his biggest ministries. How can we do this the way that he said and it be the way that he said it's supposed to be, right? Where I got lost in that because I was a babe coming into this and I did not know the formula of quite how to do this. And I think a lot of you are lost in that formula as well, and I pray that this may help you. With my ex, I did not ask God about him until I caught feelings for him. You do not do that. You test every spirit with God. Every spirit, whether you like them or you don't like them. If they're coming into your life, whether it's a work environment, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship, take them to God and ask God, are they supposed to be here? What is their purpose here? Are they going to help me with my purpose? Am I helping them with their purpose? Why are they here? Now, in the prophecy, a part that I think a lot of y'all are missing as well is when the pastor spoke to me, his wording was very specific. One thing we must do is pay attention to wording as Christians, because a lot of times the wording that we hear in the natural has a completely different meaning when it comes to God. So let's go back over the prophecy. The prophecy was, the man you're with now can be your husband. Now let's stop right there. At that point in time, when that prophecy was spoken into my life, God had already given me confirmation according to the questions that I was asking. And I was asking, can he be my husband? Not, is this the husband that you have for me? Y'all see that, right? All right. Now, the prophecy was, the man you're with now can be your husband. But if he does not align, God has someone for you who you already know, who will be everything you need him to be for where he is taking you. Settle on that for a second. So ultimately, my ex was my choice. And for the longest time, when God was showing me that, I would get so angry, because in this next video that I'm going to upload for y'all, I'm going to be telling y'all how I didn't even like him. But when he was presented to me with my husband, I was choosing anybody over my husband, because in my mind, he was incapable of being anything to me, especially my husband. For what all this, God, you telling me you got planned for me? And that's why you do not judge a book by its cover, because we don't see them in the light that God sees them in. See, God knows what he has put on the inside of them. He knows what he has built them up to be. He knows what he has prepared them for. So in short, there are three different type of marriages you can have. There's worldly marriage, which is usually dependent upon your desires and your free will. There's a godly marriage where, you make sure that you do certain things right so that you can get favor from God. And then there's kingdom marriage, the marriage that God has set aside for you, because he wants y'all to make hell nervous when y'all walk through the door. And baby, that's the type of marriage I wanted. When I saw my Bishop and Lady Ferguson and I heard they love story, baby, I wanted that. I ain't never seen nothing like that. You mean to tell me God will put two imperfect people and allow them to walk together in order to complete his will and give his name glory? Baby, I want that. How I get that? And the more I started seeking kingdom marriage, the more my life aligned with what God had for me all along. Baby, God had done already set me aside for kingdom marriage because he knew that my marriage would be the curse breaking marriage for my family. I am a generational curse breaker, not just in marriage, but in a lot of things. So as the curse breaker, I had to have a kingdom marriage. God was not about to let me have a worldly marriage. If I would have married my ex, it would have been blessed, but it would not have been kingdom. And there is a big, 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 huge difference in that. And I feel like the men knew something and they know this formula and they just ain't been saying nothing. And here's why. When you really sit down and think about it, men are very picky about who they decide to get married to. And they're also very picky about getting themselves together before they decide to get married. Think about it. It be us women out here who want married so bad that we just be so ready to get married. We'll marry anybody that love us and that we love. No, it's not supposed to be like that. Love is not enough to get married. First and foremost, it is a key part into marriage. But if you don't know how to love God, baby, I know you don't know how to love me. And we got to be real with ourselves and ask, how does this person love themselves? How do they love God? How is their relationship with Christ? If I want, depending on what kind of marriage you want, maybe you do want a worldly marriage, but I knew I wanted kingdom. And once God showed me what I was doing wrong, I wanted to fix that. Because, baby, I need to be in the kingdom. All this, you done promised me, all this, you done said I'm going to have. How I get to that? So, in short, I have some notes here I'm going to go over with y'all that hopefully better breaks this down. I hope I'm doing a good job of breaking this down, and I hope that you all are following me. I will not be more than likely releasing this story in chronological order because I'm doing it as God leads me to. And I pray that you all can be graceful with me, that y'all can be patient with me, that y'all can be kind with me, because this carrying this testimony, baby, it was hard. But I knew when I was going through it that it was bigger than me. And from y'all responses, it is bigger than me. So y'all know in the book of Revelations in chapter 6 where they're talking about the seals, they talk about barley, and barley is like a cheaper version of wheat. It's watered down, right? But then wheat is like the bread of life, and it's often used to describe like Jesus. Jesus is the bread of life, you know? And basically, wheat and barley are a lot like sugar and salt. They have similarities in looks. They all have a taste, but the taste is different depending on what it is that you're intending to do with it. If you want a kingdom marriage, you have to align yourself to whatever it is that God has said you must do in order to obtain that kingdom marriage. If you want a worldly marriage, it don't take much, but you get worldly results. In Exodus, we see how you can be in the middle of bondage and still choose comfortability over the promise. I didn't want that for myself. I wanted to go into a land of milk and honey. I was tired of eating manna. In short, I wanted the kingdom, baby. I didn't want the worldly marriage. I could have married him and it would have been blessed, but it wouldn't have been kingdom. And I needed the kingdom. I love y'all. Talking so fast, I forgot the most important part. So, in short, y'all, let God choose your spouse. Oftentimes, we do things on our own accord and we don't consult God before we do these things, and then we pray to him about them, wanting him to bless them, and that's not how God works. We have to be willing to take everything onto him so that whatever happens with it, whatever happens, you know, in the course of what we're doing with it, we know that it's him in the midst of it, and we're able to trust the process even when it's ugly, because we now know. My video cutting off, but yes, take everything to God before you even start doing it. Run it past him. Let him give you the answers before you start doing it. So that way you can know, is this something that you would have me to do, Father, or is this what I want to do? And now you're helping me through it. And now you're blessing me through it, or you're even just gracing me through it. Everybody is not graced for the same thing. I know a couple of people that were not grace or are not grace for the testimony that I have carried. It was specifically for me to reach a specific goal, to get me to a specific place. Thank God. So we're all not graced for the same thing. God may grace you for something that I could never carry. And that's why we need to take everything on to him, so he can give us direction, so he can give us provisioning, so he can give us parameter, so he can tell us how to get through it, so he can help us stay in alignment. See, once you come out of this video blesses you, I pray that I answered y'all questions. I tried to do this fast, y'all. I got a long day. I love y'all. Be blessed. God loves you best. And I want to see y'all win.